What's up guys, my name is Alex and welcome to Let's Talk, where I talk about all things queer that have interested me in the past week. I hope you all have had an amazing Christmas and New Year holiday. I've spent the majority of last week with family, so I'm playing catch up on TV as well. But let's get into a couple things that I want to talk about today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I'm very much behind on, and someone recommended it to me after it finished, which is Mr. Robot. So they told me that there was a queer love story, sort of, in season 4, the newest season of Mr. Robot. Now, I had seen season 1 and I think part of season 2, so I had like already an idea of what the show was about, so it didn't take much for me to catch up. But I have to say that I love these two girls. So the two girls are Darlene and Dom, or Dominique. And one of them's tall redhead, obviously, love it. Dom, tall redhead, obviously, I'm gonna be on board. And I do have to say, I was a big fan of Darlene when I first started watching Mr. Robot. I kind of fell out of it, but going into it, I was very excited to see that she was part of this, I don't want to say love story, because it's I feel like it's too dark for that. But yeah, I was very excited to watch this. Now, I do have to say, I haven't finished it yet. I finished episode 9. I've got to watch episode 10 and then I'm done. So I'm sort of recommending this on what I've heard. So them hooking up and I guess their ending isn't so great. So it kind of, I don't want to spoil too much, but it sort of starts off as something that's not genuine, right? But from what I've heard, it kind of ends at the end of season 4 with the potential of it sort of continuing on into something more genuine. But we will have to wait until season 5 to actually see if they do continue on with it. But if you want to watch it, I think there's plenty of scenes of them up on YouTube if you are not... if you don't watch the show, though I do recommend watching the show. It's a really good show. The season 1 is absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you want to check it out, go in knowing you don't see a happy ending as of yet, but there is potential. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that one for a little bit in case you guys hadn't heard of it, because I honestly hadn't heard of it until, like, literally only one person has told me about it, I think. 1 or 2 people. And I haven't seen them anywhere on my timeline, like Twitter or Tumblr timeline. So I feel like not many people know about them. But yeah, so check them out if you haven't. Next thing that I want to talk about is Cable Girls. If you guys don't know what Cable Girls is, I did a video, I think it was towards the start of this year when the first season dropped on Netflix, about the show, because I love the show, and there's sort of like an OT3, like a poly sort of relationship going on in the show that I really, really loved in season 1. It is a Spanish show, but it is dubbed in English on Netflix, so that's how I was able to watch it. If you guys are like me and have troubles with subtitles, it is dubbed in English. So if you want to go check out what I talked about season 1, I'll have my video linked in the description of my thoughts on season 1. But season 2 has recently dropped on Netflix. Now, I was kind of wondering, slash hoping they would sort of delve more into the poly sort of relationship of the 3 of them. Because there's Sara, Carlotta, and not even gonna lie, I've totally forgotten what the dude's name is. And that's because, like, he really wasn't in season 2 at all. They really didn't bring him in this season, but I don't think they've completely sort of, like, dismissed him. I think they might, I don't know, but they could possibly play more, like, they could sort of go, like, into more depth on the poly relationship in season 3, but this season they sort of focus more on Sara's storyline. Now, again, if you see my season 1 sort of video, I talked about how there was a possibility of Sara having a trans storyline in season 2, because they sort of hinted at it at the very end of season 1, and it's something that I was really hoping they would do. And it turns out they did delve into Sara being trans in season 2, and oh god, it was heartbreaking. Oh, my feels. Honestly, I highly, highly do recommend watching it if you haven't. I don't really want to spoil too much in case you guys haven't watched it, but there is a scene towards the end, well, not a scene, it's more of an episode towards the end that just absolutely broke my heart. I believe it was episode 6, so if you guys have watched it, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. episode 6. It just, but I really did enjoy the season of Cable Girls, so I do highly recommend watching it. Again, it's on Netflix. And it is dubbed if you're like me and you have trouble with subtitles. I believe there is already season 3 confirmed. I believe when I talked about season 1, people were saying that season 2 and 3 were already confirmed. So I'm very excited to see what they do in season 3. It's just a really great show. I really do love it. So I do highly recommend watching it if you guys haven't yet. Yeah. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is Once Upon a Time, because I've had so many people asking me to talk about this. So I did sort of mention the storyline a few episodes ago, like a few Let's Talks ago, it was a couple months ago, when it was first sort of hinted at. But it is the Alice and Robin storyline that is happening in Once Upon a Time. I do have to say as a disclaimer, I really don't enjoy watching Once Upon a Time anymore. Like, I used to be a huge fan of it, but like, I know it's not a great idea to jump in halfway through a season, but like I jumped in and watched the whole episode of the most recent episode of Once Upon a Time to watch this storyline. And I watched the whole episode and I was just like, oh god, this is worse than I remember. I don't know. It feels like the quality has gone way downhill. But yeah, I just had to put that out there because, I mean, I'm as a show in whole, I really don't enjoy watching it. So that might affect how I see this relationship. Now, if you guys are subscribed to my channel, you probably know I am not a fan of Once Upon a Time and how they've treated queer characters and relationships. It really fucking annoys me and frustrates me, and I'm very hesitant to watch any more characters and relationships because of it. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about Mulan just disappeared. I'm talking about Red and Dorothy. They had one episode and they disappeared. I'm talking about Swan Queen. There has not been a great relationship between the show and queer people. But I do have to say, the couple, I do have to say, the couple is really hot. They're gorgeous girls. They've got chemistry, and I like looking at them. So, as there was literally, I think, like 3 scenes, we got one scene of each of them by themselves, and then one scene of them together in this episode. And I believe, from what I've heard, we had not seen Robin before this episode. I really don't have many thoughts on them as a couple, or as a storyline, or as a ship, or whatever, just yet, because there really is not much to go on. But I will keep my eye on them in March when the season starts back up. I'm just very hesitant to get on board this ship and this show again. It's just, it's a hard time to get into this show. But yeah, if I can't manage to sit through the episodes of the show, I will still probably like watch their scenes until I sort of have an opinion whether I continue to watch it or whether I'm just like, no, I'm not even going to bother. But for right now, I don't really have like a solid opinion. I think they're gorgeous together. I think they're cute. They've got some chemistry, but I just don't trust this show at all. But I think that's about it for this week's Let's Talk. I haven't done a Runaways video in a little while because the last couple episodes, it was very much like parent focused, and I find those episodes a little bit boring and I didn't really have too much to say about them. I'm hoping the last 2 episodes of the season are more sort of kid focused, slash Carolina focused. I have good feelings. So hopefully we get a good episode of Runaways. Well, it's tonight. So if there is, I'll be making a solo video on that. I also have my reactions go up on my Patreon, so if you guys want to watch my reactions of Runaways, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. Also want to give a big thank you to my Patreon sponsors. We got Alex, Marissa, Corey, and Kathy. You guys are incredible and help me do what I do. But that's about it for Let's Talk today. We're getting back into it. It's 2018. We're gonna be smashing life. You and me. We're smashing it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for 2018. I'm excited to get back into the grind of things, right? And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.